welcome back to the channel. So today we are tackling the 350Z. So this 350Z actually belongs to Lee Bourgoin. He's the guy that you see in the first of our videos and the last of our videos displaying our shirts. Well, we asked for his muscles and his tattoos to do the pictures, so that's why he was in those pictures. He's gonna kill me for mentioning this, but anyways, today we're working on his 350Z. So Lee purchased an exhaust system, which you've seen in the previous video when we were talking about the smart cart. It's the Gemni from, good question. Let's go see. Invidia. So he purchased that, and he purchased some long tube headers. So that's what we'll be installing, as well as a Plenum spacer that he wants us to put on. And hopefully maybe get rid of that 4x4 stance. It's on the hoist partially, so it's not that high. Maybe we can convince Lee to get a pair of coilovers and drop it like it's hot. So right now, we'll do a little sound clip of the exhaust that he has on, just to see the difference, so we can actually have both of them on there. So let's jump right into it. But before, actually, let's go around the car and see what the car is. I'm not 100% sure of the year. It's got 100,000 kilometers, so not many kilometers at all. He actually just purchased a new set of wheels, which actually look really nice on this car. They are ESR wheels, nice meaty tires. Interior is in pristine shape. Pop the trunk and show you the... There we go. These are the headers that we'll be installing, along with the Plenum and the spacers. So these are all wrapped already, so ready to go in. Not really tight, so we'll have to add a few little pieces to that. These little metal ties. Make sure that it doesn't come loose when he's driving. And then the Invidia exhaust system, which we opened in the smart car video. We'll open it up later. And now let's hear how it sounds right now, so we can compare when we have the other one installed. So that's how she sounds now. So I'm not 100% sure what type of exhaust is on there. I'm pretty sure it has some test pipes on there to remove the cats, but we'll soon find out. And now that she's on the lift, oh yeah. Let me show you. So, somebody did some custom work here. Looks like it's got a MagnaFlow exhaust. But yeah, so this is the custom piece that they decided to weld on. Then it's just straight pipe. Oh, another nice little, yeah. Welded in some flexed pipes. Looks like they made their own flanges. I don't know. And then we get to the headers themselves. So yeah, so we'll be removing this old exhaust here first, getting that out of the way. Remove the O2 sensors, and then we'll jump into that. That's going to be a hard spot. Removing the headers. These are a pain on these cars. So hopefully it's not too rusty, and yeah. But this here, that's going to be easy to remove. Might even just cut some of it off if it doesn't remove too easy. So here we go. And then we'll remove the O2 sensors, which as you can tell, they come apart so easy. Wasn't the case, but I did loosen them up before I started recording. Plus they are still warm because I revved it up a few times. Here we go. And then what we're gonna do now is we'll take those bolts off here and here. And we'll take these off so we can take these makeshift downpipes out. And then we'll take it apart there and try to slide it in. Well, those are off. So they had used a few different size of bolts on here. So that part is off. Just let the O2 dangle for now. And then we will skip to this part here. So I'll remove these two and then remove the hanger right here and then try to move everything forward. See if that works. Well, here she is. I ended up having to cut it. I wasn't gonna battle with this. It's a custom-made exhaust that it's not even fully welded everywhere, so I figured the hell with it, we'll just cut it off. If somebody wants to reuse it, they can weld another bead here and be done, but yeah, she is off. And now we move to the engine bay. So, let me try to do this here with one hand. You can lift it, but just a second. There we go. So, looks like he's got a little bit of vinyl wrapping done. What we'll need to do is, because we need to gain access to the headers, which as you can clearly see, it's a pain in the ass. These cars are not easy to work on when it comes to headers. Oh, looks like Lee travels with a little rag. Must be Nissan problems. So, first off, we'll remove the strut tower brace, remove the intake. We'll remove this here, just don't want to scratch it and whatnot. And then we'll actually need to drain out the coolant. We'll need to put some new coolant. Just gives us more access to the headers if we remove all these coolant pipes on this side, and then there's one on that side as well. Still think that dropping the engine might be easier. As you can tell, it's really hot and humid here today. We are in the Maritime, so if you're from somewhere else, you don't have our humidity, and it's like plus 30 outside right now, so it is warm. And yeah, kind of need AC in the garage. So let's get to removing some stuff. All right, so now that all that stuff is removed and I'm all dirty, this is what she looks like. So, I remove the coolant line that goes here to get it out of the way. And then I had some fun removing this here. So it's pretty simple once you remove this, but these bolts were all rusty, so it's hard to get this. Then all of these bolts are pretty accessible, not the end of the world, easy to remove. Once that was removed, I just slid the other one in, and that's how she looks. Not bolted in yet, but should work. One thing that I've noticed is that this one has an O2 sensor, and I did not see an O2 sensor on that one. that might be a problem. So what I'll do now is I'll bolt it up so I can lift it on the hoist and the header won't fall down. And then I'll try to see if they have a spot to mount that. If not, that means we're gonna have to drill and weld one. Additional work. But yeah, here we go. Alrighty, so we're back. So on this side, yeah. So I ended up removing this for the fuel. And I removed this here. So a coolant pipe that goes to your firewall. Then there's a 12 mil out back here that you just grab with extensions. 12 mil here. Then you remove your 2 lines, and this pops off. So now that that is popped off, then you got access to the heat shield, which there is 4 bolts, which they are rusty, same as the other side. So it's probably going to give us a good time. Yeah. So let's take those off. Again, on this side, header is on. Still got to put all the other mumbo jumbo junk there. Oh, and I also had to remove the coolant pipe which connects to here, which is pretty self-explanatory. Other than that, fairly simple. So here we go. And now that this is off, we've got access to the bolts. So it's not going to be that bad on this side either. Once I remove all those bolts, then it will slide out and we'll be able to put the other header on. So there's one thing I failed to mention yesterday. Thought it was going to be not a big deal. When I went to remove one of these bolts right here, which you can't really see well, they are for the coolant passage. One of them, as soon as I bolted onto it, it broke as soon as I turned it. The other one was a little stripped, but I took it out. Figured it's not going to be that bad. But yeah, I got to take it out. So I'm not 100% sure. It looks like it's a different type of bolt than the other one. So that means I just put a nut on there. I'm going to try to weld the nut on and then try to tread it out. Hopefully whoever installed that bolt before did not strip it in. That's why I love working on old cars. Yeah. But this side, once we have all those bolts removed, nothing broke on this side, so we'll be golden as long as we don't break a head stud. Well, exhaust stud. So they're so big, so I highly doubt that would ever happen. But yeah, let's continue. And bam, all the bolts are removed. And I just threw it on. Right now it's not bolted on or anything. Let me see if I can open up a light here. Here we go. So whoever did the wrap job on this, hey, not the best, but she'll do. Now to tie it all up, put the O2 sensors, and then put everything back together up top. Then we can do an exhaust system. And now, bam, the car is back in the air. That means that the headers are installed. I still gotta fix that damaged bolt on the other side, which, yeah, I don't feel like doing it right now, so I figured I'd postpone it and do some more work on here. So I'll show you what I just done. So I've got the O2 sensors plugged in. Just gotta put this around here, which I'll do when my camera's out of my hands. And oh, look, packing peanuts. And then we can start putting the new exhaust on. That's what she looks like now. On to the next part. I'll secure those, and I'll take a little video of taking the exhaust out and see how that looks, and see if we can figure out how that goes. Alright, so here we got the full exhaust system. So see, everything's labeled as passenger, X-pipe, driver, and then of course that is the end and then the tips. So that's pretty easy. To be honest with you, I'm not sure which one goes first, that one or that one. I'll do a quick Google search before, and then we'll start throwing shit on. Well, here we go. So, turns out we're missing 2 gaskets and 4 bolts, 4 nuts. So yeah, no, everything isn't actually all loose right now. I want to pre-assemble everything and tighten everything. But no, it's a nice piece of exhaust. Already some junk in it. Here you go. So now I'll run to the store right quick and get some bolts and 2 gaskets. Alrighty, so now that the exhaust tips are installed, where are they? Oh, right here. Just got to lower it down, as you can see, all nice and shiny. So now to lower the vehicle down and back into the engine bay to try to fix that bolt that broke. It's gonna be a pain, but we got to do it. Because once we fix that bolt, we can tidy up everything in the engine bay and put some coolant, which I don't have any coolant. I'd have to go to town. Well, the startup might not even be today, depending on how much problems I have with that bolt. So let's lower that car down and go with a fun bolt. Lee, I don't like you no more. You told me that this was a not winter driven vehicle and there'd be no rusted bolts, and yet I broke 2. Fun times. So for the engine bay, as you can tell, this side is all assembled. Everything is ready to go. And this side is the problem side. So the bottom bolt, when I tried to take it out, it broke the tip of it. So I will open the flash and show you what it looks like. So it's that one right there. So, of course, it had to be the one that's the hardest to get at, because the AC is in the way, and then the AC works in this car, and don't necessarily want Lee to do a recharge on it. So that means I gotta try to make something work. We'll try it. What I think I'll do is I'll put a nut on there. So I already have a nut here, which is bigger. Slide it on, and then weld the tip. So it's gonna put some heat in the bolt itself. And then it's got a 12mm head, so I should technically be able to get that out. So here's to hoping that whoever put this in before did not strip it, and that would be the reason why it broke. So hopefully it's just, you know, seized in there over time. Here's to hoping, because I do not want to have to take the time to tap the block, and it's going to be a pain. If that's the case, then I got to remove this, and then Lee will need an AC recharge. I'll have to get the AC removed and then put it back in. Which, a couple more bucks that I don't think he wants to spend, and I don't really want to take the time to do. So here's to attacking this. Well, the first try, we'll let it warm up and see if that worked. As you can tell, she's pretty hot. It was hard to get the welding whip in there, but here's to trying. Well then, it just broke it off a little more. Really beginning to think that is cross-threaded in there. Try welding another nut on there. Try number 5. This is not going anywhere. Oh. I'll let it cool down completely. Hope for the best. So this is what happens here. I'll see if I can focus. So I weld on this side, which is all good. It actually touches the bolt. Then it breaks a piece of the bolt. All right, so I got this all done up, all bolted, finally. And before I put the intake and whatnot, I need to take this cover off. Lee wants to put a spacer here, so there's a little spacer. Apparently it does give you more horsepower or something. Not a big firm believer in it, but maybe it's proven. I don't know. So I got to pull this off. So in order to pull this off, there's all these 10 mil bolts. Got to remove this. And yeah, just a few little things. Got to take apart the throttle body, because there are some stuff on there. And the spacer just sits in between. So let's pull a few bolts. And then just like that, all the bolts are removed. So this is able to be pulled up. So I didn't do anything with the throttle body at all. I will just put it on its side. And I'll show you what goes in. And this is a little piece. So we need to put a little bit of gasket maker on the side in order for it to make sure it seals well. And then it comes with spacers for the middle bolts and all the new bolts. Right now I do not have any gasket maker, so I'll have to run to the store. That, and I also need coolant because I drained the coolant earlier. And then she'll be all set. So once I put that spacer, put it all on, put the junk, oof, the garage is messy. Put all that back in here. This is for another project, which, yeah, you'll know soon. Then bam. So I've got some coolant in here. We'll have to let it warm up and do the bleeding process. So there's a bleeder screw out back here. I already let some of the air out, so it's not going to be too bad to bleed in. As you can see, there is some ultra gray there, so I want to let that dry completely before I start it up. And then I'm just installing the intake right now, so I got to tighten this, tighten that. That will be done. And after that, I'll put the strut tower bar and then the front plate that he has here, this thing on there, and then that will be done. So then we should be able to do an exhaust clip. So I'll let this sit. I can't remember what the dry time is on this, but I'll take a quick look and then we'll start it up and make sure there's no leaks or anything. Get the coolant all bled. And then that will be it for this one. Lee also asked me to take a quick look at his e-brake. Wasn't working as well as he wanted it to, so I'll have to take a quick look at that. But other than that, guys, this one is done. So in a few seconds, you'll see an audio clip here. We might even take it for a drive, see how it sounds in the car. And then when Lee comes to pick it up, maybe he'll do a burnout. Highly doubt it, but you never know. And here she is. So as you can see, a bunch of smoke. As soon as you have something that's wrapped, it always smokes for a little bit, and then she's golden. So on both sides, or that side, the intake's in the way, but there's still quite a bit of smoke. So we'll let that warm up. Got the heat on in the car. We'll try to get rid of all those air bubbles to make sure that there's no air bubbles in the cooling system, and we'll be all set. And here we go. She's ready to go. Still got to take it down the road, but I'll give you a little sound clip of what she sounds like. So right now she's actually idling. Kind of like a Prius. I don't even think you can detect it on this camera. So let me rev it a few times for you. Prius build, guys. I mean 350Z. Lee, you got yourself a Prius with this exhaust. We can barely hear it. So make sure to share, like, and subscribe if you want more videos. Thanks. So here's a quick in-car video. Don't want to do too much noise, but here we go so you can hear.